Okay, so thank you. Thank you very much for coming today. Um, we're going to go ahead and start off with a prayer. Okay, we'll start off with an opening prayer and then we'll have a closing prayer. I'm going to do the opening prayer, but if someone else is feeling it, they can absolutely do the closing prayer. Okay? Um, so, what we're doing today is we're going to talk about acceptance and grace and Christ-like acceptance and grace and how that looks in our lives. This is an introspective seminar, if you will. This is what you yourself, you be very honest, you do not have to share. If you feel inclined to, please do, but you do not have to, okay? This is going to be approximately an hour and a half long, so we're going to talk about it. I'm going to ask some questions. Again, if you don't want to share out loud, that is perfectly fine. That's what these notebooks are for. Those notebooks that you have are for you to write down your thoughts and your feelings, okay? I want you to be as open and honest as you can. That's why I'm not going to tell you, I'm not going to call on you or to make you share out loud, okay? So we will go ahead and start with the opening prayer, if you will. Father in heaven, we thank you for bringing us together today. We come before you with open arms, ready to learn from your word and from each other. As we explore the story of the prodigal son, help us to see ourselves clearly, whether we are like the father, the brother, or the son. Teach us to embrace repentance, to overcome jealousy, to find restoration in you, to find acceptance and understand grace and mercy. We invite your Holy Spirit into this place. May your wisdom guide our thoughts. May your love soften our hearts, and may your grace transform the way that we live and to relate to others. In Lord's name we pray, amen. All right, so like I said earlier, we are going to walk through one of the most famous parables, okay? I know that some people may not know that, or they might just need a little bit of a refresher. That's okay. So I'm going to go ahead and read the parable of the lost son, and then we're going to talk about it, okay? While I'm reading this, I want you to focus on the story and yourself, okay, and where you are. So, the parable of the lost son. And then he said, a certain man had 2 sons, and the younger of him said to his father, Father, give me the portion of the goods that falls to me. So he divided them his livelihood. And not many days after, the younger son gathered all together, journeyed to a far country, and there wasted his possessions with prodigal living. But when he had spent all, there arose a severe famine in that land, and he began to be in want. Then he went and joined himself to a citizen of that country, and sent him into his fields to feed swine. And when he would gladly have filled his stomach with the pods that the swine ate, and no one gave him anything. But when he came to himself, he said, how many of my father's hired servants have bread enough and to spare, and I perish with hunger? I will arise and go to my father and say to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before you, and I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Make me like one of your hired servants. And he arose and came to his father. But when he was still a great way off, his father saw him and had compassion, and fell on his neck and kissed him. And the son said to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and in your sight, and I am no longer worthy to be called your son. But his father said to his servants, Bring out the best robe and put it on him, and put a ring on his hand and sandals on his feet, and bring the fattened calf here and kill it, and let us eat and be merry. For this my son was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found, and they began to be merry. Now his older son, who was in the field, as he came and drew near to the house, he heard music and dancing. So he called to one of the servants and asked what these things meant. And he said to him, your brother has come, and because he has received him safe and sound, your father has killed the fattened calf. But he was angry, and he would not go in. Therefore his father came out and pleaded with him. So he answered to his father, these many years I have been serving you. I have never transgressed your commandment at any time, and yet you never gave me a young goat, that I may be merry with my friends. But as soon as a son of yours came, who has devoured your livelihood with harlots, you killed the fattened calf for him. And he said to him, son, you are always with me, and all that I have is yours. It was right that we should make merry and be glad for your brother, for he was dead and is alive again, was lost and now is found. So, as I read that, there were a couple of things that came to my mind. Some of these things were a little bit of gluttony, maybe, right? A little bit of expenditure, things that, maybe going a way that wasn't the way that we were set out to go. Whatever that may look like. Okay? And then we've got shame, embarrassment, humiliation, a little bit of regret, some guilt even. And maybe criticizing of self, right? That goes back to that internal. And then we have a celebration, right? A celebration, embrace. Your transgressions, they're done. It doesn't matter what you've done. You're back. You're with me. You're here. You are loved, and I want you to see that. You're back to your place where you should be, right? But you also have some anger, some resentment, some questioning, some ostracizing, right? All of these things are from different people. And I understand that we may all have some of this in us. We may all have some of this in us. I myself have been like, why did they get that? Are you serious right now? Like, I worked really hard. Why them and not me? They're not even there. They're never there. Like, are you serious right now? I deserve that. I deserve, right? That's kind of a little bit of the fault that we may have. I deserve. And then we've got the anger and the aggression towards the person that we don't even know what they've been through. We don't know where they've walked. And then you've got the father that embraces like, man, you know what? Yeah, I worked really hard to make sure that this happened, but I'm really glad that that person got what they needed. That person is able to grow and to expand, and we've got that belonging and acceptance. So again, yes, we may have all of these things at once, but who are you in this story? Unconditional love? Do we struggle with jealousy, with a little bit of resentment? So we'll talk about the father real quick, okay? We're going to talk about the father. That's the favorite one. That's the one we like the most. Yeah, we talk about the prodigal son a lot, but the father is the favoritist. Embrace and celebrate repentance. Right? We're celebrating repentance. We're celebrating the fact that someone has gone off of the path and is now back to their true calling, right? Who they were always meant to be. What do we notice about the father? What do we notice about the father?
The willingness to forgive and just accept them back in like nothing happened. That love, it's unconditional love.
Absolutely unconditional love. Willingness to immerse ourselves in unconditional love of anyone, right? Okay, what else?
Is it Jesus?
We'll talk about that.
In my mind, he's kind of like the martyr in the situation. He's the stand fast. We'll be here no matter what happens around me, and whatever comes.
So it's almost like he's the sacrifice. He has sacrificed his own standing and everything that he has done. He's sacrificed to make sure that that person, whomever it is, in this case his son, is still loved and welcome. Okay? does he, in this case, he doesn't hold a grudge, does he? No, he's sacrificed. He's okay with that. He's okay with being taken as long as this person comes back, and we're going to celebrate that, and it's okay. Does he tell him, no, you need to apologize first?
No.
In the story at all, does it ever say that he needed to apologize?
No.
What was his apology?
Like coming back on his knees.
Yeah, the coming back, the humble, the I know I need you, and I will do what I need, what I'm supposed to do. I've messed up, I've done everything, but his apologies are in action, not just words. And that's what we're talking about, right? The action. And the father takes notice of this. He doesn't ever ask, no, you need to apologize, you need to do this, you need to do that. He never says that. Even now, even towards the end, he never says anything like that. What did he say to the other son? To the brother? It's okay. He says, son, you're always with me, and all I have is yours. It was right that we should make merry and be glad, for your brother was dead and is alive again, and was lost and is found. He's telling him, look, this is why I'm celebrating. You've always been there. And this comes up time and time again with 99 to the 1, right? The 99 sheep that are there, they're fine. We're going to go find the one that's lost. This comes up quite a bit for those who are lost, those who are struggling, those who are damaged, those who feel unworthy. No, you're coming back. You're there. I will always be there, right? So, yeah, that sacrificial love, right? So how do we respond when someone comes back to us after a failure? Do we embrace, or do we make them earn it back? Do we need that apology? We embrace. Okay. Do we embrace? That's what we should do. Do we always do that though?
Absolutely not.
No, sometimes it's like, but what did you do wrong? You need to apologize for it, right? What might it look like for us to celebrate? Does it have to be a huge feast?
No.
Okay. What can that look like? Can it look like just sitting with them and being there for them?
Yes.
Can it look like hugs and telling them, look, I'm here. I'm still here, right? Just like him. Okay? So, the Father shows us radical grace, right? God's radical grace, that I'm here, the sacrificial, if you will, the merciful, the martyrdom, which, again, that comes up in a big way later on, right? The Jesus, what we talked about, right? That comes up. But now, what about the ones who struggle to accept the grace that someone else has been given? Now what? It's easy to embrace. It's easy to celebrate when someone walks in. Yeah, we're good. You're like, oh, okay, this is a good thing. Yeah, we'll do that. But what about the ones who struggle?
It builds a lot of resentment. You can't be graceful in the acceptance of what somebody else is willing to put up with to pay. It depends on what they've done and the way they're asking for forgiveness.
Yeah. Or in this case, not necessarily just asking one time, saying, look, I'm not worthy to be called, just let me work. Just not even ask, please can I? It was, look, I know I'm not worthy, but in this case, it didn't even ask. So sometimes it's that they don't ask, or the way they ask, like, look, I deserve this, so here I am, right? Sometimes like, who said you deserve that? Stop it, right? I always think of the must be nice. It's the must be nice, people, right? Oh, you got this? Must be nice, right? It is nice. It's really nice. Come with me. We'll do it together, right? It must be nice, people. And sometimes they're stuck where they're stuck in their own resentment. They're stuck in their own barrier. They are their own obstacle, right? That's the must be nice people. So, the older brother represents those of us who've always played by the rules and accept the expected reward. I've always done everything. I'm doing this for reward. That is something else that comes up quite often. Do you want earthly reward or do you want heavenly reward? Are you upset because someone else received their reward, even though you don't see what they've been through, what they've gone through? Are you upset because your reward came later and you thought it should be there now? Do you feel maybe more deserving sometimes? That's what I said earlier. I do that. I deserve this, I deserve that. Why did you get something? I said, it must be nice, right? Okay, anyway. But do we sometimes do that?
All the time.
Yeah. And we don't mean to, and it's not about taking away from someone else. It's about, I should get more. Sometimes you losing something happens to be a symptom of my getting more, right? We talk about the ripple effect, things like that. Well, celebration and embracing is a ripple effect as well. So he says something specific. He says, first off, he was angry. And he said, these many years I have been serving you. I've never transgressed in your commitment at any time. But you never gave me a young goat to feast, right? You never did that. You never invited my friends to be merry and have a celebration. You didn't do that for me, right? There's that resentment, that bitterness, that entitlement. Well, where's my celebration? What are you doing about me, right? Seriously? And then, when you go to work and then you see those sign-on bonuses instead of like a retention bonus, you're like, I've been here. Why not the people that have been here? Well, we know that that's to bring people in, to get people here more, right? It's kind of what this is. It's kind of the same, concept, if you will. God's grace offends our sense of fairness. His idea of fair is not humans' idea of fair. Grace is not about fairness, though. It's about mercy. It's not about what's fair. It does talk about later on that, yes, you will reap what you sow. You will see, again, like I said, the ripple effect, right? What you do today, you're going to see that tomorrow. Maybe not later on today, but you'll see that tomorrow. Maybe not tomorrow, but in a week, you're going to see that, right? Again, God's idea of fair and mercy is a little bit different than ours, which is why sometimes human nature does not reflect what spirituality and Christ-like nature is. It's very different. Our idea, humans' idea of what we should do, human interpretation is very different than spiritual message, unfortunately, a lot of times. So when we talk about this, when we interact with people, it's very much a humanistic idea instead of what this is. So sometimes our interpretations get lost and the message is not internalized and spread the way that it should be, right? But again, we'll figure that one out, right? That's what we do this for. So when we have felt overlooked while someone else received grace, what has that done for you? What positives come from that? From feeling overlooked?
Madness and sadness.
Yeah, we get angry, we're upset, we're sad, we're hurt, right? What does it do? What does jealousy do? What does feeling jealous do? What positivity comes from jealousy?
Like, I wish I had that. I wish I had that too.
I wish I had that too, right? I wish I had that too.
Motivation.
It could be, yeah, we could do motivation. That absolutely could. We could, okay? But what does jealousy reveal about our understanding of God's love? What is our understanding? What does jealousy reveal about our understanding of God's love? Could it reveal that we don't understand it the way that we thought we did? That maybe we're not getting the actual message? Maybe we're human and we have flaws? And how might we move from resentment to rejoicing when others receive mercy? How can we go? How can we challenge our thinking, our behaviors? What can we do?
Maybe I'm next. Change your outlook.
Yeah, maybe I'm next, right? Change my outlook. Maybe I'm not as deserving as I thought. Maybe I'm not getting the message that I thought I was getting. Maybe I'm not giving off or working in the way that I should. Not to say that you're not working hard, but maybe you're not working in the way that you should.
Need to do better.
Maybe we need to do better. Maybe we need to do different. Right? It's not always about better or worse. Sometimes it is, absolutely, sometimes it is. But sometimes it's about different path. And celebrating that. Right?
You might get something a lot better than that.
You might get something a lot better than that, right? Exactly. Like salvation.
Sometimes we're put in a spot where it may not be God's will for us to be in that spot.
You were never supposed to be there.
But we're wanting it instead, and so God closed that door on us. But yet we're like, why didn't I get there? Instead of saying, Lord, if you want me there, you'll open that door and you'll probably be there.
Yeah. And a lot of times we don't see that until later.
Yeah.
Hindsight's 20/20. I've been hearing that for 14 years, thank you. But hindsight's 20/20. I didn't realize that. I wasn't supposed to be there. I wasn't meant for this path until later on. And I'm like, that's why that happened. Okay. Yeah, that's not where I was ever supposed to be. I was never supposed to be there. I'm frustrated because that's where I wanted to be. I wanted to be out partying. I wanted to do all this stuff, but I didn't. I did exactly what I was supposed to do.
Why did you do that?
Because sometimes what you're supposed to do, what you think you're supposed to do, is not what you're truly supposed to do. Sometimes we're the brother, sometimes the father, but a lot of us know what it feels like to be the prodigal son. To feel that shame, rejection, that criticizing, overcast, even longing for a home, longing for belonging. I want to be with someone. I want to belong. I want to be loved. I want this.
To fit in.
To fit in. Yes, I want to fit in. So, in the beginning, the son, he demanded his inheritance, right? We don't know, it doesn't really talk about when he was supposed to get it. It just talks about that he asked for it. And now, then, you know, there was a hierarchy, right? The oldest son, and then it goes down. Well, this is the younger son. The younger of the two sons wanted it. So he's kind of skipping the line a little bit, right? So chances are he demanded, like, it belongs to me. I deserve, there it is again. I deserve it, right? So, a lot of times, and again, a lot of times with the inheritance, how do you get an inheritance? What has to happen most of the time?
Someone has to die.
Someone has to die, right?
Someone has to sacrifice themselves for their own love.
Could be, yeah, and that could be a different type of inheritance. We'll see that later on. That comes up, John 4:16, that comes up. So, but yes, the sacrificial love, yes. But in this case, this is earthly reward, not heavenly reward. That comes later. But he's essentially saying, you know what, I wish you were dead already, because I want what I want. I don't want you here. I want what I want, right? Maybe not actually dead, but remember, we don't want to hurt others, we want more, right? A lot of times it's we want more. That just happens to be a symptom, right? So another thing, he talks about eating with the swine, right? That is the lowest of the low. That's the lowest of the low. That's to eat with swine. Swine are dirty, at least in this time, right? They're dirty animals. They're unclean. They're the bottom of the barrel, right? So to say I will eat with them says I am not worthy. I am unclean. I am damaged. I am less than, right? As a matter of fact, he begs. He says, "How many of my father's hired servants have bread enough and to spare, and I perish with hunger?" Servants, slaves, have more than I do. I have negative stuff, right? Not only did I lose everything, but now I'm like under the bottom of the barrel. I am under the servants. I am under the slaves. I am under those who are meant to serve humans, right? Because there's a difference between serving and serving, right? They are serving. They're not serving. So this puts them underneath, right? So there was a turning point for the prodigal son. What was that turning point? He says, "I will arise and go to my father and will say to him, 'Father, I have sinned against heaven and before you, and I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Make me like one of your hired servants.'" I can go home. I want to go home. If going home, being with my father, means serving and doing everything I'm told, being humble, being at the very bottom, sacrificing everything that I have had, all of the fun I've had, everything, to go back to the place that I do have that sacrificial love, that I do have someone who loves me unconditionally, that will always be there, that will teach me the right and wrong, to show me the way, then I will do that. I will go home. However I get there, however I can, even if it means being lower than your servants, being lower than everybody else, being less than. What does that say about the correlation between God and brokenness and struggle?
Is there a correlation?
God uses struggle and brokenness. He uses your fight. He uses your pain to show you your worth. To tell you, you are human. You have made mistakes. You have deemed yourself unworthy. Let me show you. Come here. Let me show you. I got you. I will fix it. Let me show you how. The
So how
true
in that
message.
situation did he show you how?
So in the brokenness, he says, "Look, you're always with me," right? He tells the father. Sorry. So we're using the father, the brother, and the son, right? The father tells the brother, "Look, you're always with me. All I have is yours," right? He's always been there. He's always been there, right? From day one. The son, he leaves. He's broken, right? He does everything the way he's not supposed to. He messes it all up, right? Essentially messes it all up. And he comes back humble. He comes back showing, "Look, I'm not worthy. I'm broken. The world has taken everything. The world's taken all of it from me. And this is internal, right? This is his struggle, right? I am not worth what I was before. I have tainted myself and me. I have broken myself. God, and the Father, in this case, the Father says, you know what? Bring out the best robe, put it on him, put everything. He is lost and he's found, right? I will celebrate you. I'm here. I want to celebrate you. Not only am I going to show you that you were worth it, that you were worthy before all this, not only will we show that you were worthy before you were lost, but I'm going to show you that not only were you worthy, but you are celebrated when you come back. All of that pain, all of that, everything that you've been through, that you've gone through, when you're with me, you're worthy of celebration. You are on a pedestal. I love you. I will sacrifice everything for you. Sometimes the brokenness is what we need to get back to our past, to get back to who we truly were. And sometimes we turn out better. We've got the best robes, the fattened calf, the ring, everything. We've got more than that. At first, we were kind of living an okay life, right? And then we went out and we partied. We did, everything that we wasn't supposed to do. That the Father said, "Hey, look, pause. Don't do that," right? But we did it anyway. And now, when we are at our worst, someone comes along and says, the Father comes along and says, I don't care about any of that. What I do care about is that you're home. And I want to celebrate you being home with the best of the best. I want to show you that you are not only worthy, but you are worth celebrating. Sometimes we just have to, we don't have to, but sometimes we feel like we have to hit rock bottom to see that, ooh, you know what? Again, like I said, hindsight's 20/20. I'm actually worth more than I thought I was. So, when have you felt unworthy? When have you felt unworthy?
Well, as the son left with an attitude of, I deserve, come back with a humble attitude is, I'll take what I can get, just to be the humble servant.
Anything.
Anything, yeah. So, ask your question again. Just,
When have you felt unworthy?
So, when we had walked with God and we knew that presence of God, and then we stepped away as a prodigal son, we come back and Lord, I'm not worthy. That humble spirit, we have to break down to that spirit, Lord, I'm not worthy, but through your mercy and grace, will you accept me back? And just, we bring ourselves to that brokenness, that humbleness, like you said, to come back to it.
You know what? I belong because of the inherent dignity that I have been given by God. It's not that I belong because I deserve to belong, because I have that sense of entitlement. It's that I belong because I belong, because I've been given that's that, again, that inherent dignity that we're given. We are made in God's image. We're made in our Lord's image, right?
But isn't that the problem that a lot of people have with religion is, why do I have to be broken in order to be accepted?
See, and that's where we have right here. You're always with me. That's why we want to be like the Father, right? In this thing, this right here. That's why we want to celebrate, right? I don't want you to go. I don't want you to be broken. I never wanted you to be broken. I never wanted that. That's not what I wanted, right? And unfortunately, that message gets
Doesn't it get lost?
lost.
Because the son that stayed and did what he was supposed to do and was always there, never got the celebration that the one that was lost was.
Right. No, you're right. You're right. And that's one thing that the brother struggles with is, why didn't I get it? I should have got, like, the retention bonus, right? I should get a retention bonus. I've been here the whole time. I've been working. Look, see, I've been here the whole time. Why am I not celebrated too? And he said to him, Son, you are always with me, and all that I have is yours. It was right that we should make merry and be glad, for your brother was dead and is alive again, and was lost and is now found. You are always with me, and all I have is yours. That's the key part. we're celebrating this huge celebration, this feast, this all of this, everything. Celebration. The Father's also celebrating the brother. In that very last line, that very last part right here, you are always with me, and all that I have is yours. Celebration does not always look like a huge party. It doesn't always look like a big party. Sometimes it looks like everything is yours. Everything is yours. We're celebrating your brother and we're glad he's here, right? We're glad he's here. This is where he belongs. You were always with me. Remember this. Everything is yours. It's all yours. Celebration is not always, celebration, embrace, acceptance. It doesn't always look like we're going to do this huge party with balloons and food and all that. Sometimes it's, I love you. I have always loved you, and I will always love you. Just like your brother, who at one time did not feel loved, did not feel like he was worthy. I have always loved him. We don't raise our kids the same way. We don't speak to people the same way that we should. And we're going to get to that in Colossians. We're going to talk about that too. But we don't talk to everybody the same way. We don't celebrate everyone the same way. And again, God's fairness doesn't look like humans' fairness, right? And a lot of times that goes back to the message. What does that message look like? Does it look like God celebrated him, gave him a party? Why are we not giving people that are always there, right? That are always there a party? Why don't we get the retention board? Why don't we get this? Why didn't I get celebrated? I never left. I was always here. Why now? Why are we waiting? Why didn't I get this? And it's hard to look at that from someone else's point of view. It's hard to look at that from the human point of view and not a biblical standpoint. But that line right there, you're always with me and all I have is yours. I have always loved you. I have always loved you. I have never left you. I've always been here for you. That's also a celebration. And it doesn't feel like it to us, especially when we've been pushed aside, we've been cast aside, we've been told you're not worthy because of your beliefs, because of what you love, because of this, because of that, anything, right? When we're told you are less than, we feel we are less than. We feel like we deserve to eat with swine underneath the servants, if you will, just like he did. And then once we see someone going through that and then we look and they're celebrated, you're like, bro, really? I was here the whole time. What are you doing? Why did I not get celebrated? Because that one part, we focus so much on the son. Even in this story, we're focused so much on the prodigal son, about how he left and came back and he was celebrated and that the brother was mad. We forget about the part where it says, again, you are always with me. All I have is yours. We let that part go because we're so focused on the celebration and the anger and the hate and the animosity and that the father just loved him the whole time. We forget about the fact that celebration looks like I have always and will always love you. You have always been there. You have always been in my head, and I know that. I've never forgotten you, ever. That's what that looks like too. So whenever we talked earlier about how can we celebrate, that's what we were talking about. How can we celebrate? What does celebration look like, right? So what lies does shame tell us about our identity and worth? So going back to the brokenness, what lies does that tell us? When you feel unworthy, when you feel broken, when you feel like you are less than, what lies are you telling yourself?
I'm not good enough.
Yeah, I'm not good enough. What lies are being said? Your head, your heart, from other people sometimes, when they notice that, because some people, they feed off of that, right?
I don't need to be here.
I don't need to be here now or anymore. What does this story teach us about God's willingness to restore?
Love.
Unconditional love, right? Unconditional love. Even in brokenness, even when we don't see it, even when we feel ignored, even when we feel like we're not being celebrated too, right?
Knowledge is there if you're willing to look for it.
Yeah, it's there. I just need to look for it. Sometimes we're blinded by our own upsetness and our own thoughts and even our own behaviors or lack of, right? Sometimes we're blinded by that. It's not that we don't know, it's that we're just not looking for it, right? Or we're not looking for it in the right place. What about we each have different roles, right? And sometimes, again, we play those roles differently. Sometimes we're the father, where we celebrate and we embrace and we accept and we're like, yeah, right? Instantly, yes. Sometimes we're the son, we feel unworthy, we feel like I'm less than, we're embarrassed, we feel guilt, we feel shame. And this can be at anything. And sometimes we're the brother, where we feel resentment and hate and like, why are you here? Like, what are you doing? I'll look straight at you. I'm sorry, that was rude. But I know why you're here, because you're awesome. But like, what are you doing here? There's no reason for you to be here. You weren't here this whole time, and now all of a sudden man, this feels really, really, really shots fired. But you weren't here this whole time, and now all of a sudden you want to come up, and not only that, but you get a celebration. Be for real. Why? Who are you? Who are you? Really? Who are you? And again, you don't have to say that. Oh, that's what those are for. Who am I like right at this moment? Right now? Who are you right now? If someone were to come up and do something, or you were to see something like this, who are you?
I'm the brother defendant.
The lost son?
No, the brother.
The brother.
saved.
Oh, okay. The brother said, "I was here the whole time." What? Why you? Why am I not celebrated? Why? Why am I being ignored? Why am I just put on the back burner? Same. Same. I get it. So, right now, who, if anybody feels comfortable, who has been the son and who has been the father? Right now, at this moment.
You here lately have been the brother, like, why not me?
So yeah, we're struggling. Why not me?
And probably most of us, but that's the way I've been just lately. It seems like things run through your head and you have to put it out and say, don't worry about it. Just, move on.
I've
We
been,
want that recognition.
yeah, like
we want that pat
I've
on
been
the back,
here.
look, good job, what you're doing.
I don't want silent love. I want it loud. I want it celebrated. I want it where everybody can see. I want it where you can see out in the pasture and you come up and you're like, I hear music. That's the love I want. That's the celebration I want. Why am I getting silent love? Why am I getting, I know you're here. I see you. I love you. Why am I getting that when I want this one? That's where it comes about, the wants versus the message. Do I know where to look? What am I seeing? What message am I interpreting? Is it the right one, or is it this one? Is it this one, or is it this one? What message am I looking for right now?
How confusing does the message become? Because I don't know about anybody else, but depending on my role in the situation, I'm all three.
Oh yeah, see, and we said that earlier too. Sometimes we're all three. Sometimes we're like, man, why did you get it? And now I'm ashamed because I'm like, man, maybe I didn't work hard enough. Like, maybe it's me. Maybe I'm not even worthy of having it. But like, why you? You know what? I'm kind of glad you got it. Now that I think about it, go you. But why not me? Am I not good enough? We'd be all three in the same sentence. In the same sentence. And it also could depend on the situation itself, right? Like, you're like, I am so happy for you. Yeah. I'm glad you're with me now. I'm glad you're with me now. This is exactly what you should. This is the path you should have been on, right? I'm glad you're here. Matter of fact, since I've been here this whole time, I want to help you. I want to help you grow, and I want to help you stay here, because this is for you. But sometimes we don't give that off. Sometimes we feel like we are like Christ and not Christ-like. And those are two very, very different things. Same words, different things. I feel I am same. I am parallel. I am exactly the same. So I can judge you. So I can tell you, I've been there. I've done this. I'm here the whole time. I'm here. Sometimes it's not like, I'm here. Sometimes it's, I'm here. You're there. There's a reason you're there. Sure, I'll help you. Not, I'm here. I love you. Right? Sometimes that love has conditions. We already talked about unconditional love earlier. That's what the Father has, right? That's what the Father in this story has. In the Prodigal Son, the unconditional love, right? Sometimes our love comes with conditions. There are believers and non-believers. They're all humans. They're all made in His image. We are all worthy, no matter where you are in your walk with Christ. You could be walking this way, walking this way. You could be walking right there, right? That like Christ, not Christ-like. There's a huge difference. Like Christ, I am holier than thou, if you will, versus Christ-like. We are all equal. We are all the same, and I will love you no matter what. When you're on this path, when you're with me, I'm going to celebrate you and I'm going to love you, because this is where you should be. We're all equal. I'm going to help you. I've been here the whole time, so I know what's going on here. Let me tell you, this is what's happening over here, this is what's happening over here, this is what's happening over here. Let me help you out. But unfortunately, sometimes in our walk, we misinterpret the message. Sometimes the message looks like, you're less than, you're not the same as me, because I've been here the whole time, instead of, we should be celebrated. That's that acceptance and granting grace, not being hateful, not having snake-like tongue, right? Not being just, you're not as good as me. Why you, right? That sense of entitlement that I'm better. That's not it. We grant grace. We say, you know what? I will always love you. This is where Colossians comes into play. Okay? We're going to talk about Colossians 4, 5, and 6. Okay? Walk in wisdom towards those who are outside, redeeming the time. Let your speech always be with grace, seasoned with salt, so that you may know how you ought to answer each one. Why do you want to be like the Father? Why do you want to celebrate? Why are you celebrating Him and not me? What makes Him better than me? What makes your God better than me and mine? What makes your life better than mine?
It's not necessarily how you think your God is. It's just a matter of belief.
Because this is what I believe. This is my faith. This is my heart. I'm going to show you my heart. Because I am to be the light. Right? That's what it talks about. I am the light. When you light a candle and you walk into a room with the light on, what happens?
The room lights up.
The light's already on. The light's already on.
Well, the light may already be on, but it may still be dark.
So if you walk into a dark room with a candle lit, what happens? It lights up, it gets bright, right? We can finally see. If you walk into a room with the light on and you have a candle, it might make it a little bit brighter, right? Because that's what we're called to be, right? We are called to be the light. What happens when you walk into a room, a dark room, with a candle that's not lit?
Nothing changes.
It ain't gonna matter. You still gonna struggle. You still gonna fall. You still gonna hurt yourself. Matter of fact, you might hurt the people around you too.
Because you can't see them.
Because you can't see them and they can't see you. Everybody's blind. Just walking around bonking each other in the head. Right? We're playing bumper people. But when you are the light, you help others. You help others see. When you are poison, when you speak poison words, when you are hateful, when you are not accepting, when you do not grant grace, whenever you do not speak to believers and non-believers the same, when you do not speak to new believers and seasoned believers the same, what poison are you putting? What are you doing? What positivity comes from that? You're not just not helping, you are hurting. Because belief, right? Our belief is that to come to Jesus, to come to God, to be Christ-like, not like Christ, right? Because we can't be. We can't be. No matter how hard we try, we can't be. But we can be Christ-like, right? When we do that, when we show the actual message to people, what happens then? Even if they never become believers, right? Because Paul spoke in Athens, and he had one, right? Very few follow him. The lady followed him. One, hey, that's more than none, right? We had one follow him, okay? But they heard. Some of them kind of shot some darts at him, right? But they sat and he had a crowd at least listen. So do you always have to pound it, or can you accept and speak? Can we just talk to people?
Yes.
We just talk to people. When you're nice and you're sweet and you're there, and you don't have to be super friendly, like, oh my God, come give me a hug and all that. Please do be here for me, right? You don't have to do that. Because some people would be like, no ma'am, right? But when we say to speak and to always have, I don't know why I do this, I just do it because I was told to. Are you doing it because you're seeking earthly reward or heavenly reward? Are you doing it? Are you speaking to people in a way that will help them, that will light the room? Are you lighting the room, or are you just walking in with a candle?
Lighting the room.
Yeah, we're lighting the room, right? So of these three people, who do you think lights the room? The
God.
father, the brother, or the prodigal son?
The Father.
The father. Why?
Because of its acceptance.
Because of his acceptance, right? Because of his granting of grace. Because it was the unconditional love. Because it was the, you have always been here with me. Because of the, I will celebrate you. I love you. I will always love you. I want you to know that you felt unworthy. You felt like you weren't here. I will always love you, right? He never says that the son gets anything out of it. The brother, he does. He kind of says that, right? We don't know what it's going to look like. All we know is that we've celebrated them and we've told them, I love you, everyone. And they're not going to leave. They want to stay there. They want to be there. They want to be with you. That we do know. So, the way that you speak to people, the way that you are, the way that you celebrate even sometimes, because it's okay, like, you know what? Let's do it. We're celebrating him. I want you to come in here with me, because he goes out and he seeks the brother, doesn't he? Because he wouldn't come in. So he went out and he sought the brother. That was another part. That was another part of the celebration. I'm coming for you because I want you to know that you're here. Look for me. The knowledge. Where do we look, right? I'm staying out here. I don't care. That's okay. I'm gonna get you. I got you. As long, if you'll come with me, I'll show you everything that you have, and you can celebrate with us here. This story is not just about them. It's not just about them. It's about us. It's about where we are. What difference do you make? Where are you in the acceptance and grace? God's true acceptance, the actual true message. Not your interpretation, not the humanist version, not the human interpretation of it. Not my well, this says this, so I'm going to make it this way. What for here? Who are you? Where are you? And how can we become like the father of the story? How can we interact?
We make an impression on people every time first impressions, they say, meet people. Second time, every time we meet somebody, there's an impression made in our mind about that person per se. So when we speak that kindness, we're planting that seed later on. But what seed are we planting? Is it a good seed or is it a bad seed? What do they see? Do they see Christ in us, like I said, or do they see something else that's fake and not really there, or do they see the evil in us? So, like you're saying, be Christ-like. Let's plant that seed that they see Christ in us.
Am I growing a garden?
Yeah.
Or am I just stirring up some dirt? What am I doing? Is that what do I know what I'm doing? Sometimes we don't know. Sometimes we think we're doing one thing, but then we look back and we're like, oops, that go back to ooh, maybe that wasn't exactly the right thing to do. Maybe that wasn't the right path. Maybe that wasn't where I was supposed to be. We can learn a lot from every single person in our lives. We learn a whole lot from every single person in our lives. But the only way to learn is to have answers and questions. Sometimes people come up and they ask us questions about, hey, what's your belief system? What do you believe? What do you don't believe? It's not because I'm testing you or I'm questioning you, because humans can test humans, right? We're allowed to test each other. We do it all the time, right? But sometimes it's genuine curiosity. But when we're like, why are you doubting? Why are you questioning? You don't even believe in this. Why do you even care? I'm done. I'm gone. I'm out of there. Nope. Or it's, let me tell you about it. They may never have your same belief system. But you know what you did? Again, you planted the seed. You're growing a garden. You're not just stirring up dirt. I know that later on, I can come to you. I know that I can trust you. I know that you see me as equals, that you see me as worthy. You don't see me as less than. I know that now. I know that one day I can come to you. C.S. Lewis talked about in Surprised by Joy, one of the quotes he said, no, this is going to be a little bit different because I can't remember it verbatim, but he said, the quickest way to make an atheist a believer is knowledge. And I say that because just talking to someone, even if they never believe, even if they have a completely different belief system, knowledge, we talked about that earlier, right? You don't have to have the same people in your life all the time. You can have different people. Do not be hateful, right? Speak with grace. Be accepting, right? Christ-like grace, not our interpretation of what grace and acceptance is. Actual, true acceptance and grace. Actual, true. And we will get along so much better, even if we put this aside and we just talk about acceptance and grace. Just us, in a secular view, in a secular way. True acceptance and grace still works. It still works regardless, right? With God's message or with our own message, as long as we have acceptance and grace, true acceptance and grace, it will still work. There's not going to be any harm in it. There's nothing negative about it. believers and non-believers. As long as we do true unconditional love and acceptance and true grace, not guilt you to give me grace, not me being guilted to give you grace, but true acceptance and grace will work every time, every single time. I had some stuff here, but every opportunity counts. Just like you said, right? We plant a seed. Every opportunity counts. We can hear out everyone. Everyone can talk. And even if nobody changes their belief system, we can always sit and listen, right? We can always talk. There's nothing wrong with that. Open communication. That's part of acceptance, right? To say, I will give you a voice. I want you to have a voice. I will celebrate you. I will always celebrate you. You will always be here, and I will always be here. That right there is the first step to anything, to successful interactions. I've been talking this whole time, which I'm really good at. I can talk all day, every day. That's why I have the job I have. I get paid to talk all day. And people don't get to tell me to be quiet. But this time, I want you to tell me what you want as far as acceptance and grace. What do you want? It can, but it doesn't have to be biblical. It doesn't have to be scriptural. It can be, what do you want for acceptance and grace?
Probably understanding, because there's some things that as people, I'm never going to be able to say I accept what you've done, or I accept your role in my life and be able to be okay with it. Mine has always been understanding. I'm never gonna like what somebody's done in terms of actions or reactions or how they choose to live whatever it is they're choosing, but understanding why and its relationship to me is probably the only way I can move forward in the situation. Like there's been people in my life I've had to cut off for a long period of time because I understand why they did it, I accept what they've done, but I choose to keep my own peace. And that's the only way I can accept it. But I have to get to that understanding portion before I can do that.
There's nothing wrong with boundaries. That's one of my favorite words, boundaries. My absolute favorite word, and I will use it, throw it around all day, every day. Boundaries. You do not get to cross a boundary with me that I will not let you cross. You can still have acceptance and grace and definitely understanding. I will tell you, this is what you have done. This is what you will not get to do again. I will always love you. I'm not always going to like you, but I will always love you, and I will always celebrate your wins one way or another. If you get better, absolutely. But you don't get to cross that boundary anymore. Giving grace sometimes looks like I will love you at a distance. I give myself grace. I tell myself I have made some mistakes in the past, probably just as bad as those people, because I've cut people off completely. I've absolutely had to do that. I have not to God where I can say, you know what, I will always love you no matter what, and I will not cut you off. I'm not that one. I'm a human, very much a human, and I'm really good at being a human and making mistakes. You all know me, you know that. But it is okay to say, you don't get to cross that boundary with me. Even Jesus had boundaries. He flipped tables. It was on people. Because he didn't like how they were being hateful. He didn't like that they were They were extorting people. They were being, he had boundaries too. And he flipped tables over it. Sometimes we just say, leave me alone. So it's okay to have boundaries. It's perfectly acceptable. Not only is it acceptable, but it's healthy. It's human healthy. And it's earthly, it's heavenly healthy. It's okay to have boundaries. Sometimes we have to do that. The understanding, even if we understand, we're here, we're connected. I know why you've done the things that you've done. At least I know. Just like he asked, why didn't you do this for me? Look, let me explain to you so you understand, so you know that open communication. You've always been here. You have everything I have. We just want to know sometimes. Are we always going to know? Are we always going to have an understanding?
No.
What do we do then? Do we hold on to it? Or do we find a way to give our own selves grace and accept our own situation?
That one's hard.
Yeah. Oh, it is. Let's say that the person that you needed the most forgiveness from, the person that you needed to tell you, I'm here and I love you and I messed up and I need you to know that I will always be here with you. Or you did that to them. You messed up. You hurt them in a way that is somewhat unforgivable and now they're dead. How do you make amends to the dead, to someone that you will never be able to do that with? You have to do that to yourself sometimes. You have that forgiveness that you have to give to someone else. Sometimes you gotta give it to yourself. That forgiveness that you have to get from someone else, you gotta get it from yourself sometimes. And that's what we're talking about with the prodigal son. That struggling, that I messed up and I don't know how to fix it. I can't fix it. I am less than, I'm unworthy, I'm bottom of the barrel. I am not worth everything that I have had, everything that I once had. That's what it looks like sometimes. Does that make you unworthy to not get that forgiveness? Absolutely not. Does it make you feel like it? Yes. But does it make it? No. No. Luckily, one of the big central messages of this is you will always be forgiven if you accept what you've been given and what you have and what you can go back to. That is our job. When you want to be Christ-like, when you are Christ-like, your job is to accept like the Lord, to love like the Lord, and that includes yourself. And we find that in all three of the characters, all three of them in this parable. We find celebration, immediate celebration. I love you. I never wanted you to leave. Please be here, even though you wanted me gone. You're the younger son, and I'm still alive. Be for real, but fine. Go ahead. You left, you came back. And then we have the other brother where it's like, really? I've been here. Are you serious right now? And then we have ourselves, right? The prodigal son, where it's like, how am I ever going to face that again? How am I ever going to face anybody? And again, this is scriptural, yes. We're talking about God's love, right? The Lord's love, we're talking about that. But this is also something internal. Who are you? Are you able to celebrate yourself? Are you able to love yourself? Are you able to forgive yourself? Are you able to say, you know what? I am worthy. What other people say and what they do, that's what they're going to say and what they're going to do. Sometimes they're going to say, you know what? You don't deserve this. You really don't. I did. I deserved this the whole time. You didn't. We got to get that from ourselves sometimes. You know what? I still love you, but I'm here. And I want to help. I want to grow. I want my family, right? In this case, my family home, which our family home is going to be everybody on the planet because we're all worthy. We're all equal, right? So that's what that's going to look like. Sometimes you don't get any support. Sometimes you're by yourself. And that's okay too. as long as we remember what true acceptance and grace looks like. What does acceptance and grace look like to someone who is secular or who's a non-believer? What does that look like? Either from your point of view, right? Or from what you've observed from others. What does that look like? What does acceptance and grace look like?
From my point of view, you don't need that book to be a good person.
Okay, I don't need this to be a good person. I don't need this. You know why I don't need this? Because I have intrinsic value and I understand what true love and true acceptance is. I am valuable. I am worthy. I am
Worth
worthy.
comes from the self, not from
Your worth comes from in
From the
here.
self.
Absolutely. It does say it in here too, but you're right. For someone who this is a book full of like cool stories, some grim, yeah, some are kind of scary, super duper scary, right? Some are like, what were you thinking, right? Sometimes we confuse like laws with biblical laws. Sometimes we confuse like laws of the land with the laws of the Lord, stuff like that, right? But this would be very scary, and it's intimidating. It really is. Even I'm like, what? Why would you say that? What are you doing, right? That's also a message that gets misconstrued. You do have value. Because you are here. Because you are you. You have value. You are worthy because you are worthy. Straight up in a story. Whether you're deserving of it, whether you're not, whether you're entitled. I go to a place every day with individuals that I struggle with to say, why are you still here? Why? And I know I'm not supposed to say that, but it is what it is. I do that and I'm like, why? You know why? Because they're here. Because they're alive, because they're people, because they have intrinsic worthy. Because they are made. That is why. And because I know that I'm worth it, I know that you're worth it. I know that you are everybody. I know that everybody is worth it because I am. The brother, he kind of forgot about that part. He kind of was like, I know I'm worthy because I've been here, because I'm with the Father all the time. You weren't with the Father, you were all gallivanting, messing around, throwing away your inheritance. We tend to forget that, yeah, they ran off, but they're still worthy. The Father celebrates that. The Father, that's why we should be like the Father in the story. Because I celebrate you as a human. Because I celebrate you're worthy. Because I celebrate that you are deserving. Because you are with me. Because you are made. Because you are made. That's why you're worthy. I can be good to you because I can be good to me. I will do unto you how I want done unto me. That's in there too. So, look, there we go. See, there's the message again, right? But, I mean, it really is. It really truly is that way. People say, oh, well, that's a really good rule book. That's not wrong. It's not wrong. It is a good rule book. It's got some great ideas. But that goes back to the belief in the faith, right? Acceptance and grace and unconditional love, regardless of wherever you are, whoever you are, whatever you believe, you are worthy. And you will always be with me, and I will always be with you, no matter where you are. Sometimes the road's going to get a little bit rough when you leave me, when you walk away from me. That's okay. It's okay. I'll be here. I'll be right here. I'll celebrate you. We're good. We got cookies. We can celebrate right now if we want to. If you can't do the sweets, I got pretzels. We can celebrate right now. We can always celebrate right now, no matter where we are. Who are you? it doesn't have to be a biblical who are you. It can be a who are you? Are you the father? Do you celebrate and embrace immediately, without question? Because I know that you're worthy. Are you the brother? Do you struggle because of all the hard work you've done, because of everything that you've ever done? I've always been here, and you're going to celebrate him? You're going to love me in silence? You're going to celebrate me in silence? But he gets a big old party that I can hear from way out here. I'm not going in there. Ew, no. I'm not doing that, because that's not for me. No, it's celebrations for everyone. That's why we invite people to celebrate. It's for everybody, right? Celebration looks different. It looks different for everyone, and that's okay too. Or are you the son? Do you feel unworthy at times? And that in turn makes you feel like you are less than. And whenever the brother comes along and says, why do you get what you get? Why are you being celebrated? Do we get knocked right back down? The father intervened and said, look, I love you. So you are always with me, and all that I have is yours. It is okay for celebration to look a little bit different and to say, I know that you've been here. I know that you have. You've always been here, right by my side, always, the whole time. Now it's time to celebrate those who have not, and to love everyone, to show I will always love you. You are always with me, and everything I have is yours. Right? And again, that can be from a biblical standpoint, and that can also be from a secular standpoint. That's everybody. That's why we speak with grace to everyone. We are making gardens, not digging dirt. We are making gardens, not digging dirt, no matter where you are. No matter who you, no matter if you will never use this in a belief or faith. You'll just use this in a, hey, you know what, let me look into that. That seems kind of cool. Let me just look into it. Yep, nope, that's creepy, I'm out. Right? No matter what that is, we still have acceptance and grace and love. Right? Walk in wisdom towards those who are outside. Everyone. Redeeming the time. Let your speech always be with grace. Show the love. Don't just tell them, show them. That was the problem that the brother had. Why aren't you showing me? Seasoned with salt, that you may know how you ought to answer each one. Celebration looks different for everyone. Speaking with people, sometimes it's just answering questions. Sometimes it's prophesizing. Sometimes it's just sitting down talking. Hey, what's up? For me, it's just talking, because again, I can do that all day, every day. I'm really good at talking, right? Sometimes it's just sitting with someone. You know what? We don't have to talk. We don't have to do anything. Just sit with me. Just sit with me. I just need your candle lit. My room is really, really dark. It's so dark right now. I just need your candle. I just need your candle. That's all. And that's okay too. That's celebrating everyone. That's celebrating humans. That's celebrating life and love and true acceptance and grace. So again, who are you? And who will you be? I really hope that we, again, even if, because believers and non-believers alike, which is a beautiful thing for everybody to come in this room. I love it. I love it. We're not going to point out who's and the sleeping child. But clearly she's very comfortable with everybody here. So my hope is that we get to look inside of ourselves and see who we are and who we want to be and who we want to help others become, no matter where we are, right? To help others become. And to always speak with grace and be the light, right? To The second most important thing, this is from Jesus, not from me, is to love your neighbor as you love yourself. To love your neighbor. It doesn't specify if it's the neighbor to the back, to the front, to the side, or to the side. Luckily for me, my neighbors are cows, but still. Love your neighbor. It doesn't say which neighbor. It says love your neighbor. That means everyone. Every single person. And I really hope that that's something that we can do. And that not only can we love them, but we can show them. And sometimes showing them looks like a celebration. Sometimes it looks like, I'm here. We'll always be here. Sometimes it looks like lighting the candle. That is my hope. I would like to ask you, is there anything that you would like to add to this before we do our closing prayer? Anything at all?
You're looking in my soul right now.
It's just my face. We've talked about this. It's just my eyes. I got the creepy eyes going on. She's adding that she's very comfortable with this conversation, with her little snores. Is there anything that we would like to add? Is there anything that we would like to clear up? Is there anything that I have said that you would like to elaborate on? Or that you would like to make a connection to? Or that you would like to say, you know what? This is how I truly feel.
It gives you something to think about, especially for somebody who's not overly religious, because a lot of people, when they read that and go into learning scripture and stuff, it's Father, Son, Holy Ghost. That's how they look at it, and that's how they present it in a lot of ways. But if I'm thinking about it more intrinsically, it makes some sense, because you have to figure out where you are and you're standing in that story, and kind of put yourself in all three of the places. And she's really comfortable.
She's super comfortable.
And be able to look at it and go, okay, I'm here, this is my place, but I can still have the conversation. I can still seek to either identify that I'm not happy with this, or figure out how to be okay that I'm not happy with this.
The understanding, the connection, the open communication, I will be here. In whatever way you need me here, right? I'll be here. And the Father, Son, Holy Ghost, that's big. There's thousands of gods. And your God is the highest of all high, the highest among all, the King of Kings. And I'm supposed to act like that? Are you serious right now? I'm supposed to relate to that? How am I going to do that? Really? I can't do that. That's why I'm here. I can't do that at all. But you know what I can do? I can relate to some family issues, some family problems, a little bit of arguing, a little bit of scuffle, this brotherly love, but you're on my nerves. I can relate to that. I can look into that. That I could chew on. You want me to do what? To be like that? You're telling me that the God of all gods, the King of all gods, I'm supposed to be that way. A person who sacrificed himself, or a person who sacrificed his son. That's what you want me to do? I cannot live up to that. I can live up to the brother who gets really annoyed with the fact that he doesn't get what he's entitled to. I can see that. I can ask those questions. I can have that conversation. And then I can understand where that plays into faith, into believers. I can relate. I can talk to everyone. I can do that. I can think on that, because that I can relate to in one way or another. Absolutely. You are all absolutely right. it makes it easier whenever we look into those to say, oh, you're right, my bad. Let me look into this real quick. And again, even as non-believers, to look into that to say, you know what? That still gives a really good, that's a really good thing to look into. That's a really good life story. I should look into that for my own self. For acceptance and grace, for what it looks like for me. I can do that. I'm at that level. Yeah. What else? And then we'll do a closing prayer, because I've already gone over time. Sorry. Okay. Is someone feeling it to pray? I do not care if you're a believer or non-believer. Does someone feel called to pray? I can do it if you don't want to. It's okay. You want me to? I'll do it. Okay. So we'll go ahead and do our closing prayer, and then we'll jack some of the cookies. How's that sound? Okay. Lord, we thank you for the time we've shared in your world today, in your word. Thank you for reminding us of the Father's heart, always ready to embrace us. Thank you for challenging us to let go of bitterness, jealousy, and pride, and thank you for lifting our shame and showing us that we were never too far to come home. Thank you for showing me how I'm supposed to be and what I should do, and who I'm supposed to be, so that others see the light. As we leave, please help us live out Colossians 4:5-6, walking wisely before others and letting our words always be filled with grace and showing who we are and how we are meant to be and how others should be. May our lives reflect your love so that others may be drawn to you and to us. May us be Christ-like in our understanding and to help others. We pray for strength to be the doers, not just the hearers. Guide us in the week ahead and in the rest of our lives to let us shine as ambassadors of acceptance and grace. In the Lord's name, amen. And that'll work for people who are, is it just two? Okay, so, we're good.